which is Z to Z. And in between that is the sarcomere. So the sarcomeres, they are stacked up on top of each other. Okay? Okay, so this is skeletal muscle. This is cardiac muscle. Okay? In cardiac muscle, you have the striations, but you also have these thick lines, which are what we call the intercalated discs. The intercalated discs are tight junctions and gap junctions holding the cells together. They're stuck together with these tight junctions. And in those tight junctions, in the intercalated discs, are the electrical synapses, the gap junctions. So that sodium can travel from one cell to the other. And as a result, you're going to get a wave of depolarization from cell to cell in the myocardium. Okay? Okay, so here's some smooth muscle. Who cares? But the bottom line is, here is Auerbach's plexus, which is parasympathetic ganglion, in between smooth muscle and the digestive tract. Smooth muscle is shaped like this with a nucleus in it, and that's why the nucleus looks like this. So these are longitudinal sections, and if I took a section that looked like this, okay, and turned it, it would look like this. So this is circular smooth muscle, the inner circular layer of smooth muscle around your digestive tract, and this is the longitudinal muscle. It looks different because it's cut different, but it's really the same. Okay? Okay, so this is a normal coronary artery on the left, okay, and coronary artery with atherosclerotic plaque. And this is going to obey Ohm's law, right? So Ohm's law is current, or amps, equals volts divided by resistance, which translates into current or flow, which equals pressure divided by resistance. That's Ohm's law. Okay. So we can forget about the electrical activity of it and just look at current divided by pressure. Current equals pressure divided by resistance. So if our current is 1/2, okay, whatever that value represents, 1/2 some type of flow. And if we narrow the vessel, then we increase the resistance, and it's no longer going to be equal to 1/2. It might be half of that, or 1/4. By increasing the resistance, we decrease the current. Get it? In order to increase the current back to 1/2, what do we have to do? We have to increase the pressure to get it back to normal, right? How are we going to do that? We're going to tax the heart. We're going to make the heart work harder. Okay? Make sense?
Yeah, but I was thinking that in a way that wouldn't put more strain on the heart.
No, you're not going to decrease the resistance of this. The resistance is going to stay the same. The heart has to compensate by increasing pressure until you're right, until it can't. And you won't even know you'll die. You'll get congestive heart failure or atherosclerotic plaque, plug up a vessel, and you'll get a cardiac infarct, which is a heart attack. Okay? All those can happen. Okay? So how are you doing? Okay? So a little bit of introduction to Ohm's law. We'll come back to Ohm's law a little later. So here's another one. Here's one that's being recanalized. Okay? In other words, your endothelial cells are trying to make a hole Okay, unfortunately, the atherosclerotic plaque is happening faster than recanalization. So here's one for you. If you have a little bit of atherosclerotic plaque now, and you start working out, doing aerobic exercise, you decrease your atherosclerotic plaque a little. Okay, exercise inhibits atherosclerotic plaque. And we'll talk about how that does that later in the metabolism lecture. It has to do with high-density glycoproteins, low-density glycoproteins. Okay, here's one that really looks bad, right? This one, pieces of it probably broke off and went downstream and caused an infarct, a heart attack, and probably killed the patient because we have this image. So this is probably a dead guy. Okay?